5 NFL teams hired new head coaches this offseason. The Cowboys hired Mike McCarthy. The Giants hired Joe Judge. The Panthers, Matt Rule. The Redskins, Ron Rivera. The Browns, Kevin Stefanski. And so what I want to do is rank them in order of best to worst. Who is the best hire? Who is the worst hire? Let's find out. I want to start with 1A and 1B. The 2 best in my opinion. I don't know how to differentiate them. I know how to differentiate them. It's the way the level of success they'll have early on. One coach is going to be far more successful than the other, but there are 2 head coaches that were hired this offseason I feel phenomenal about. The first one is Mike McCarthy with the Dallas Cowboys. I feel so good about Mike McCarthy. He's a home run. He's won a Super Bowl before. He won a Super Bowl with the Packers. He eventually got fired by them, but guess what he did? Once getting fired by the Green Bay Packers, Mike McCarthy took time off, took time to do some introspection, to figure out his priorities, to get better as a coach. He did that. He hung out in his man cave, his barn behind his house, and improved as a coach. That's awesome. He's got a plan. He's great. I really believe that Mike McCarthy is the perfect head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He's won before. He can demand respect from Jerry Jones. He's a veteran guy. He knows quarterbacks. He knows offense. He's got a lot of depth as a human being, which matters. That's what happens when you lose. That's what happens when you struggle. Getting fired by the Green Bay Packers made Mike McCarthy a better coach long term. I believe in him. He's won a Super Bowl. He's awesome. He's great for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Panthers, the second coach that I love is the Panthers hiring Matt Rule. I am going to get ridiculed for this, and that's fine. Early on, I will look like an idiot. I will look foolish. I know this. Week 10 next year, you're going to be like, the Panthers they have like 2 wins. It's 10 weeks into the year. Why do the Panthers only have 2 wins? Yeah, I acknowledge. The Panthers are not going to win a lot early on. Absolutely. Winning is going to take time in North Carolina? I believe I have this battle every time. Charlotte is in North Carolina. I know this. I looked it up one time. Never been there. Doesn't matter. It's not the point of the podcast. But you got to understand what Matt Rule does is turn around football programs. He turned around Temple. In year 1 at Temple, Matt Rule went 2-10. In year 3, Matt Rule went 10-4. Got to a bowl game. Turned him around. Wow, Matt Rule. It took time, but you certainly turned around Temple. Oh, and guess what he did? He went to Baylor. Remember Baylor? They had a horrible sex scandal. They were an awful, awful program. Just in the dumps, the worst. Year 1 at Baylor, Matt Rule went 1-11. He lost 11 games. In his 3rd year at Baylor, Matt Rule won 11 games. He went 11-4, and got to a bowl game. Matt Rule went from going 1-11 to 3 years later going 11-4. That's awesome. That's crazy. 11 losses to 11 wins in a 2-3 year span. So Matt Rule's process takes time, but he does it the right way. He doesn't offer cheap or quick solutions. He says, no, I'm going to come into your franchise and turn everything around with quality and do it the right way. Doing things the right way takes time because I'm going to change the culture. That's what Matt Rule does. And go watch Matt Rule's introductory press conference. It's phenomenal. I love it. I've never seen anything like it. Again, I'm not a rah-rah guy. A lot of head coaches, when they're hired, most of the time they're just like, they're trying to get, good press from the media. They're saying all this, boisterous stuff, and they're posturing to the media like, yeah, I'm great. And they overpromise all this stuff. Like, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this and this. And Matt Rule didn't really do any of that. Matt Rule was totally comfortable. He wasn't eager or desperate to prove himself. It was very clear Matt Rule is very comfortable and secure in who he is. And the coolest moment was unprompted. Matt Rule said he planned to bring in an older and wiser veteran coach, someone to tell him when he's wrong. I heard that and I went, yep, I'm in. Matt Rule gets it. He's going to be phenomenal. The Panthers have a great owner, David Tepper. They have a great offensive coordinator, Joe Brady from LSU, who worked with Joe Burrow, by the way. And now the Panthers have a great head coach, Matt Rule. I guess they had Matt Rule, then the Matt Rule got Joe Brady to come in. But what's even cooler is they got basically the hottest young offensive coordinator, the biggest name in offensive coordinator jobs. They got Joe Brady to come coach for them. That's the power of Matt Rule. It's the power of having a great owner. I have no idea who the quarterback is going to be yet in Charlotte. Don't know. But I'm excited to find out. Maybe it's Cam Newton. Maybe Cam Newton's the guy. Maybe not. But what I do know is I cannot wait to watch the Panthers grow. over the next couple years. It's going to take time. I understand that. I trust it. Patience is key. In time, the Panthers will win with Matt Rule. I'm going to look dumb at first. You're going to be like, Zach, what the heck? You believe in Matt Rule? He's won 2 games in 11 weeks. And I'll say, yeah, give it till year 3. By year 3, you'll see what I was talking about. Matt Rule's doing things the right way. I'm a big fan. I really believe in him. So there are 3 teams and 3 coaches left. You have the Browns, the Giants, and the Redskins. So the way we rank the next 3 teams, the question is, which coach will have the most success? Which coach is going to have the most amount of success in the future? And so the third best coach hired, in my opinion, after Mike McCarthy and Matt Rule, is the Giants hiring Joe Judge. Joe Judge has never been a head coach before. I acknowledge that that's a fear a lot of people have. But I really like Joe Judge's approach. He's delegating. He's hiring coordinators. He's hiring 3 coordinators. He hired Jason Garrett as the offensive coordinator. He hired Patrick Graham as a defensive coordinator. And Thomas McGahee as a special teams coordinator. What that means is Joe Judge isn't in charge of special teams, offense, or defense. His job is to oversee it all. It's really interesting. I heard an interview around the time of the Super Bowl where I can't remember who it was, but the guy was talking about how it's a coordinator's job to, he said it's a coordinator's job to call plays. It's like an offensive coordinator's job is to move the ball down the field. It's a head coach's job to step in and go, whoa, run the ball here. We need to take time off the clock. Or, whoa, throw the ball. We should go for it on 4th and 3. Or we shouldn't go for it on 4th and 3. It's a coach's job to oversee everything and overrule the coordinators. The fact that that's the approach Joe Judge is taking says a lot to me. He gets it. He's delegating to other people. He can have the role of overseeing everything and setting the tone for the culture. I really believe in the Giants' strategy as an organization. They have Saquon Barkley, a great young running back. Daniel Jones, a great young quarterback. I like everything the Giants are doing. I believe in Joe Judge. He's the 3rd best coach that was hired this NFL offseason. So then we're left with the Redskins or the Browns. And in my opinion, both the Browns and the Redskins have terrible ownership. Now, the Redskins do have a more experienced head coach, Ron Rivera, who's won before. But the Browns have better players. And so it's a toss-up. So in my opinion, it's very close. But I would say that the Browns got a better head coach situation with Kevin Stefanski. Ron Rivera, number 5, I'm putting him dead last. And it's not Ron Rivera's fault. Ron Rivera should have never taken a job for Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins. The Redskins have worse ownership than even the Browns. The only ownership group that's worse than Dan Snyder with the Redskins is Mike Brown. Mike Brown is by far, Cincinnati has by far the worst ownership. It's Mike Brown, then it's the Redskins. A lot of people say Dean Spanos, the Spanos family. Dean Spanos, rest in peace. But the Spanos family is terrible. A lot of people say that with the Chargers. But the Browns have good players. The Browns have a good quarterback, at least on paper. I like Baker Mayfield. Good receivers, a good defensive lineman, good running back, good tight end. Here's what the Redskins have. The Redskins have bad ownership, bad facilities, questions all over their roster, not a lot of talent. The only way the Redskins are better than the Browns is that they have a coach who's won before. That's the only, when you line up on paper this versus this, the only place the Redskins are better is they have a guy who I guess got to a Super Bowl and lost as head coach, Ron Rivera. So I think the Browns are more likely to have success than the Redskins moving forward. Again, the way I would rank the coaches, Mike McCarthy and Matt Rule are 1A and 1B. I don't know which one is better. They're both great. I love them. Joe Judge is the 3rd best coach that was hired in the NFL this offseason. Then you have Kevin Stefanski with the Browns. Then the worst coach that was hired, it's not his fault, they should have never gone there, is Ron Rivera with the Washington Redskins.